Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. Today it's a good day. I think we have a lot to talk about.
We really
right
do.
now.
we really do. First, I guess and foremost, we want to say thank you because our podcast has officially reached the entire United States of America.
Yes,
Every
it
single
has
state.
all
So,
50 states.
yeah, and the territories too. So that's crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah, and on top of that, we've reached 77 countries. Can you believe that?
Woo!
That's crazy. And so I was curious, how many countries are in the world? Because how many? 195 is the answer. What? I'm honestly shocked, bewildered. So
Yeah.
thanks for the support, guys.
We're reaching a pretty decent audience, honestly.
I know it's really crazy.
Yeah.
We love you. We really do. We really truly do. And this is, in fact, episode 101. So, last week, pretty big deal for us. And so when we released the episode, we, obviously released an Instagram post with the pictures from the episode or whatever. And if you didn't listen last week, first of all, go listen. Okay.
Yes.
But
it's a really good episode.
it really truly is. And I talked about the Roswell incident, which is this alien conspiracy, basically, if you didn't listen. And so when we posted the pictures on Instagram, Savannah talked about Annabelle. So we have pictures of Annabelle, and then I had pictures of the actual Roswell crash. And then there was also a picture of a recreation of what they thought, or what the government said was going to be a weather balloon. Okay, so there's a real doll, a recreation of a weather balloon, and then the real Roswell incident pictures. And the Annabelle doll picture and the recreation weather balloon picture posted absolutely, completely normally fine. But the Roswell, the real actual pictures of the debris from the incident posted so weird. I can't even describe what they look like. Can you, Savannah?
Well, no, they're zoomed in somehow, maybe. I don't
Zoomed
know.
in,
And
but also at almost like an indent, kind of curved sideways. It's really weird. And we deleted it, reposted it, tried to post it multiple times, and it still does that every time.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. So I don't know if it's the government. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know. Don't know what's going on. But it was definitely weird for sure. And no, that was not a prank just because it was our 100th episode. That's genuinely something weird that was going on. But we were able to actually post the pictures on a story. So if you want to see those pictures, they're in our Instagram highlights. So yeah, go look at that for sure.
Yes. And also, I wanted to mention when we were speaking about our audience, we do check our reviews every week. And I've noticed that we haven't had any reviews on Apple Podcasts in 2023.
Guys, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yes, please.
Please.
Yeah. Maybe you'll get a shout out for being the first of the year to do it. Yeah.
Incentives. We love to see that. Yeah, do it. It helps us, and we love to hear from you guys. It's fun. We literally love reading the comments and stuff, so comment away.
Yes.
But I think that might be all the intro topics I have for this week. What about you, Savannah?
Yeah, I think so. So I think we can get into my story.
Let's do it.
All right. So this week I got a creature.
Oh, we love a good creature.
Yes, we do. So this one I had not heard about before. I just looked up dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay.
And I looked up dinosaur myth or something, and this came up. So it is the Arica monster.
Oh, okay. Never heard of her.
Yeah, it's in Chile in South America. And it lives in the Atacama Desert. So a lot of places that we have not been.
Yeah, all places I have not been. Would love to go.
Yeah. So the Atacama Desert is actually it's a big desert that is inhospitable, like uninhabitable. Like
Yeah.
you can't. There's nothing there.
Oh, creepy.
People have described it as being like the moon or
Oh,
like Mars, like
like people
you know,
really don't be living there.
yeah, like what you would imagine Mars to be like a bunch of sand
Yeah.
and nothing.
Yeah. Barren.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that you would see that people would see a creature out there.
Right. Also, like, who's seeing a creature out there if nobody's out there?
Yeah, well, there's a road that goes through,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
so people have seen it driving through. So, so the monster there's not really another name for it. I wish there was. I wish there was like a fun name for this creature, but no, it's just the Arica monster.
I mean, that's honestly a pretty fire name, if I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so the monster is supposedly it is a surviving member of the Dromaeosaurids, which
Oh,
is a type of dinosaur.
whoa, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's what people think anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it hasn't been proven, but that's what people think, that it's a surviving member of the Dromaeosaurids, which is a dinosaur, and that name means running lizard.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. And they are like feathered theropods.
got it.
So they walk on two legs,
Mm-hmm.
those type of guys.
Those type of guys.
And it is said to live in caves near sources of water. But
Yeah.
it's like, that's probably really rare out there in the desert, so I don't know.
Right. Like a
Yeah.
sand cave.
Yeah, I guess that gets into their like, their the mystery of it,
Of
because
course,
they're
of
like, well, we
course.
can't find it because it's out here in the desert hiding
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So, some more description of this creature. It is said to look like a kangaroo, sort of. And people usually see it like I said before, they see it while they're driving, and it'll like cross the road in front of them, which around here you worry about deer crossing in front of you, but out there in the
Right.
desert you have to worry about this weird looking creature animal jumping out.
This potential dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, when you said kangaroo, all I can picture now is Kangaroo Jack.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Like
something like
a
that.
ripped kangaroo.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, exactly. So, like, you basically are just driving in the desert in Chile, and then you just see a giant bird-like dinosaur creature cross the road in front of you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also has three-toed prints, like
Ooh.
footprints.
Mm-hmm.
So from this description, we can see that's like a dinosaur-like bird creature,
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because dromaeosaurids were feathered dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So actually, so scientists pretty much have proven at this point that all dinosaurs were actually feathered, and like these like reptilian looking dinosaurs we see in the movies are kind of just like for the movies.
yeah.
Because I
see
actually
that?
took a dinosaur class in college,
Yeah.
which is random, I know, but I know a lot about dinosaurs for no reason. Just
Well, that's cool.
just for absolute fun. Yeah. So actually,
Yeah.
like most dinosaurs were feathered back then, but we
I
just
know.
like didn't know.
I actually have like a note here saying basically that, but like I just think it's crazy because, when we were little, I think science thought that they were all like lizard.
No,
like
100% they
creatures.
did. It was definitely like more recent. Like I think in the 2010s era when they kind
Yeah.
of fully figured it out.
Yeah, but like just imagine like what you thought the Jurassic and Triassic, like all those periods with dinosaurs looked like,
Right.
where like there's these big scary reptilian things, and then picture versus like what it actually probably was with like giant looking birds.
Literally in reality, we think it's like this demon T-Rex. In reality, it's just Big Bird.
It's a T-Rex is probably a big chicken.
Literally a big chicken.
Which is like, just picture that. That is so crazy to me.
It really
But
is.
like, but they're birds with teeth.
With teeth. So they are
Which,
still scary, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Like, that's not to be saying, like, birds are scary, too. Just in general. I
yeah.
don't like birds. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah, birds are okay on my side, but
I just don't like being, like, the idea of them pecking me is horrifying.
oh, I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you. Okay. Well, but yeah, like I just imagining a bunch of birds. That's just so it's I don't know.
It really is mind boggling.
It's just a different. It seems like it's not real. I don't know.
Right. Right. Why do I feel like the more scary reptilian dinosaurs are more real than, like, big chicken dinosaurs?
I know. Yeah, I know. Like I want to go back in time just to see how it was. I don't know.
Same.
So anyways, this creature has been seen in the area for a while. In the 80s, it was described as kangaroo-like, but then in the 90s, it was said to look like a velociraptor from in Jurassic Park.
So that's probably just because of the movie, right?
Yeah, probably because Jurassic Park came out in 1993. So
Yeah.
so like as the movie came out, people started to adapt the way that they said that it looked.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That makes sense.
so yeah, and then it was also like around this time it was people said it was more reptilian, and then now over time people understand dinosaurs more and it started to have feathers
Of
suddenly.
course. Yes.
So it sort of has been changing over time. And this, points to it being a myth because the description is not staying the same.
Unless they're evolving.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. It could, yeah, that, or it could be real and like it's just going by too fast for people to see or something.
That's
I don't know.
true. That's also true.
Yeah. But it would be cool if a dinosaur was still alive.
No, that would be so cool.
Yeah. And like imagine it being out in the desert, like, and because nobody goes out there, it's able to stay hidden.
Yeah, and just like survive.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, okay, so there are a few sightings. Unfortunately, there's not that much detail, but I'll get into that. In 2004, a family was on their way home to Arica. And that's, by the way, that's why it's called the Arica Monster, because it's near a town called that.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention that before, but
Yeah,
but
I had just assumed, so.
yeah, so they were on their way home and they saw a dog-faced kangaroo-like creature. That's what they
Okay.
said they saw.
Interesting.
And they said it surrounded their vehicle. So, and I guess it just ran away after that. I don't know. They didn't say anything else happened.
Okay.
So, and it was actually first spotted in the Atacama Desert in 1980, and witnesses described the creature as a kangaroo-like bipedal monster.
Oh.
They say, "Oh, this monster." I feel like if I saw something out in the wild, I don't know if I would call it a monster.
I feel like I would call it a monster.
You would?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay. Well, people driving through the desert by car on different days on the road that links the cities of like Arica and Iquique, north of Santiago in Chile. People driving throughout the day, multiple people saw this monster.
Ooh, I don't like that it's like during the day either.
Yeah.
Like, because I honestly would picture it was at night.
No, I mean, none of these things say that it's at night.
That's crazy.
So I'm guessing it's just during the day. Yeah.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I pictured it during the day, actually. I didn't even try to see if it was at night or not. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I
guess it
I
could
would
be either.
assume that it would be at night just because people like aren't really sure what they're seeing. But also that's just because they just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, it being at night would explain more, like...
Yeah, like of the
the
discrepancies. Yeah.
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 Um, a military officer, Hernan Cuve, Cuvas, he says that he saw it while traveling with two other adults in the car and two children. And he said that it was a huge beast, much like a two-legged dinosaur with huge thighs.
Oh,
Yeah. And he described it as being from Jurassic Park.
okay. Interesting.
So, this is a military officer. So, I don't
Yeah,
know. Do we trust him?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah. And the last sort of thing I have is that a paleontologist with the University of Tarapacá studied reports of people who claim to have seen the animal. And he feels that a dinosaur could be able to remain pretty much undetected in the desert, like as long as there was vegetation for it to eat and canyons to live in and like a source of water. But, I guess that hasn't been proven that there is that.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So,
nobody goes out there, right? Really?
yeah.
Like with,
Yeah.
that's, wow. Like, I
So he's
wonder.
like, well, theoretically, like, yes, it could be out there if there's like, stuff for it to live off of.
Yeah. I mean, that's true for really anything, though, out there.
Yeah. Yeah. True. And also, I want to connect this to the chupacabra because
Oh.
people have mistaken this for the chupacabra.
See, when you said dog face before,
Yeah.
I did kind of think of that.
Yeah, so like it could be the same, maybe it's the same creature or like there's
Yeah.
two different ones. And by the way, the chupacabra, we did cover that in episode 14.
Wow. Throwback.
Yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, like I mean, you're the one who covered the chupacabra.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about that?
Well,
Like the similarities?
I definitely think, so I know there were two different, like, main kinds of chupacabras. Like, one was more, like, big monster dog, and the other was kind of just like a regular dog.
Yeah.
So, like, this monster that you're describing kind of sounds like maybe in the middle of those. So maybe like the two chupacabras mixed and had this little baby.
Yeah, but also the fact that it's like a dog and this is like on two legs.
That's true, because the other
Maybe,
one
yeah.
was mostly on four, I think.
Yeah. So maybe people are just like mixing them up and
Yeah.
there's just like multiple weird creatures out here.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Could be. But yeah, that's what I have for this week. A short one.
I like that one though. That is creepy. Ew. Would you go? Would you drive on that road, try to see it?
Yes, I want to see a dinosaur.
Me too.
Like, that would be cool.
Like I know it's bad, and obviously like the movies show like why we shouldn't do it, but I would totally go to Jurassic Park.
Oh, I think I would too.
Like I
Especially
hate to
if
say
they're
it.
gonna be like the feathered ones versus like the ones in the movies. They should remake the movies with like giant birds.
Yeah, they should.
Because
They
that would
should.
be that would just be amazing.
They really
honestly.
should.
It would make me picture birds like way differently.
Yeah, that's for sure. I would probably go see either one. I would see a lizard or the bird. Dinosaur versions.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, I guess switching gears a little bit, I have a very spooky legend for you this week. Okay.
Okay.
So I have for you the legend of the Kaimuki Kasha house. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, okay.
So, this house is actually considered Hawaii's most haunted house. And I know I say that a lot, but
Hawaii.
yeah, Hawaii. We are in Hawaii this week, guys. Specifically like Oahu area. We've definitely talked about Hawaii before. So we already know like the state super just in general is haunted, guys. Very much so. My favorite story from Hawaii is the night marchers that I
Yes.
covered.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I forgot what they were called, but I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that story really sticks with you. If you want to hear that one, it's in episode 28, which was also a throwback. Yeah, that one's crazy. So you already just know from the get that I'm saying it's in Hawaii. It's going to be a crazy story. So buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. So the famous Kaimuki house is actually located on the corner of 8th and Harding Streets on a foundation of 2 beds of lava rock.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy? And that's kind of like all of Hawaii, but like I just think that's so cool. So I had to throw it in there.
yeah.
Like literally the ground is lava rock. So cool.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
mean, yeah, that is really cool because, I mean, it's probably not cool to them because they're like, what? Everything's lava here.
Yeah, literally.
But, I mean, it's not every day that, like, we see lava.
Uh-uh.
So it's just,
No. I don't know if I've ever seen lava.
yeah,
Really.
no, me either.
That's crazy.
Or like lava rock. Or, yeah.
Exactly. So that's pretty cool too. That is just like the house sits on that. Um, so there are tons, countless stories and just a bunch of bad things going on here. So the first bad press that this house actually got, um, it was like written as a story in the Honolulu Star, like paper, and it was actually just a few months after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941
Oh,
that this
okay.
story came out. So, already like a tough time, and then this story comes out too. So according to the article, police responded to a 911 call, and in the call, there's like a woman screaming on the phone, and all she's saying over and over and over is, "She's trying to kill my children. She's trying to kill my children."
Oh my God.
So
That's
obviously,
not, that's scary.
can't be good. Can't be good. So the police whip on over there, and when they get to the house, they find this young Hawaiian boy first. He's like kind of outside on the front porch. And then they like walk inside the house and they find his three sisters and his mom, every single one of them screaming at the top of their lungs and pretty much being thrown across the room by what appeared to be absolutely nothing. Like randomly, one of the girls, one of the daughters, one of the moms, the son just yeeted across the room,
Oh
smacked
my
against the
God.
wall.
Did Annabelle get there somehow?
That's what I'm saying, man. So the police are like, what the heck is going on? you know? And at first they're like, this has to be like a joke. Because obviously, like, would you even believe that? Like, I would be like, what am I even looking at? Like, just people's bodies being thrown across the room. I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
So, but the police, obviously, they were trying to like help them down, get them out of the house or whatever. But this like throwing of the bodies scenario went on for 30 minutes before the police could finally get everybody out.
30 minutes? Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the entire family, as well as all of the police and the first responders that were there, all have corroborated the story. And actually, 30 years after the incident happened, they were all called back and asked their stories and like asked to recount them again. And they all said the same thing again. So that's very interesting. And there was a reason why all of these people were interviewed again, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. So yeah, and when the police like were trying to like help them or whatever, they were like trying to obviously hold these people down like physically with their bodies, like sitting on top of them so they wouldn't be thrown again. And the force would just literally grab them and throw them across the house too.
Okay, so the police officers were thrown
Yeah,
across too?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like once they
I
got
thought,
in there,
yeah.
like
Okay.
not right at first. Like right at first, they were like sitting on top of them trying to help. But then I guess once whatever this thing was like realized, yeah, everybody was just getting thrown about in there.
Huh.
Which is not funny at all, but it is also a little funny just trying to picture it happening,
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I know you haven't seen The Conjuring, but that actually does happen in The Conjuring, and it really is just a funny scene to see somebody get drugged by absolutely nothing.
Uh-huh.
But horrifying. Like, I would never want that to happen to me. Ever. So, legend says that this unforeseen, like, entity that is, like, throwing these people across this house is said to be a kasha. So, in Japanese folklore, a kasha is actually a man-eating ghost. Which is not good. Not what we want to hear.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah. So most people believe that this like entity thing is like Akasha, and we'll get into that too. But there are other theories. Some think that it actually is a ghost of a person buried on the property, that may have been killed, or even this like demon. Clearly, obviously, got to throw this demon in there. So back to the Kasha theory, though. This little man-eating ghost thing. In Japanese culture, basically, Akasha is this like shape shifting creature that normally looks like a cat, but can look like a human, can look like absolutely nothing, can look like really whatever it wants.
Wait, isn't that in Harry Potter?
Oh,
Professor
perfect. Well,
McGonagall?
she does turn into a cat, but I don't know if she's
See,
Akasha.
but she's a cat and
But
a
she,
human.
yes, that's true. That's very true.
But I mean, but are these things evil though?
Oh, they're very evil.
Okay, well, I guess she's not
Yeah,
one of them.
and she's
then.
wonderful. So,
Yeah.
you know, maybe she was like the good version though, like the heaven version. Because my next story is, or my next line is literally, they are also called hell cats. So maybe she's like one of the heaven cats. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they are known as the Hellcats, and the legend, at least for like specifically the Hellcats, is that they come out during rainy and stormy weather. Which also kind of makes sense for Hawaii, because if you don't know it, it pretty much like storms every single day there, but then it gets like absolutely beautiful and like rainbows every day. So there's a lot of rain there, but also really beautiful weather.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because their vegetation is crazy.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. So
and
it is
probably
really
needs a lot of
stormy,
water.
but like it calms up real quick there.
Yeah.
So that could be an explanation as to why this Kasha thing spirit is there. But regardless of which theory you want to go with, all of them have one thing in common, and it's that this entity has like an insatiable hunger for blood and corpses.
Ooh, no, that's not good.
No.
Not corpses. Oh
Not
my
corpses.
God.
No. So it doesn't even care like if you're dead or not. It still wants to eat you. But it likes to play with its food first, like a cat. So that's kind of maybe like, why it was tossing them around the room a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so creepy. With all of that in mind, after the first attack at the house in 1942, things kind of seemed to be pretty quiet for a little while, but almost 30 years exactly after the attack, there was another. Okay. So 3 girls were reportedly living in the Kaimuki house at this time. Just little roomies. And they had been reporting like hearing strange noises or whatever, like sounded like somebody was moving and talking, but just typical stuff, typical regular ghost things. So they didn't think about it too much for a while. But then one specific day, they're all just hanging out together as little roomies, chilling, and they hear these noises that they normally hear. And they're like, oh, here we go again. But this time, it sounds like there's like somebody moving around in their house and actually talking, but like nobody else is there. So as the girls are listening to the noise and trying to like check the house and stuff to see if anybody is actually there, one of the girls said that she felt a hand on her arm, and that was enough for her because nobody else was there. So they call the police, as they should. And an officer comes out to check, but just like the girls, finds absolutely nothing. Nobody's there. Nothing's going on. So he's like, I don't know, maybe leave for the night. I don't know. So they decided that they were going to all spend the night together at like one of the girls' mom's house. So they're getting in their car or whatever. The police is getting in his car and the girls are getting in their car, about to leave their house. And the girls begin their drive. And the police is going the same way. So he's like following them as of right now. And the girls get literally, I don't even think it's a block down the road. Not like 5 seconds of driving, and they pull into a parking lot. So the police is behind them, so he does end up following them because he's like, what's going on? But we'll come back to that. The police report says that the girl who was sitting in the middle seat of the car was actually fighting off someone who could not be seen. And she claims that she was being strangled, like in the car, by nothing.
No, thank you.
No.
And you're saying that's why they pulled into a parking lot?
Yeah, because I think she was like free, like she wasn't the one driving, but so like it's like a vehicle that only has like the front, so it's like 3 seats in the front.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I guess she's like absolutely freaking out, can't breathe. So the girl pulls into the parking lot to try to help her. Because I have to imagine they're not like, oh, this is a ghost trying to strangle me. They're probably like, she's choking, you know?
Yeah.
But she's like, no, 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 no. Like something is actually like strangling me. Like help me. Like there's a hand around my throat. I can feel it. So the police sees this like struggle going on with the girls. He jumps out of his car and reaches in theirs to help. And he claims that when he was trying to get the girl out of the car, he felt a quote, big, strong, calloused hand that absolutely could not have been one of those young teenage girls. And that hand grabbed his arm and twisted it, creating this like burning on his arm. But
Oh my
nothing
God,
was there.
no.
Like he couldn't see the hand, but he could feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a police officer. So he runs to his car, radios for assistance. The second officer gets to the scene, and the first thing that's said, the first officer says, "There's a ghost in that car."
Oh my God. That's so
Like
crazy.
just like
Oh my
that.
God.
He's like, "Yeah, there's a ghost in that car. I don't know what to do." Like it hurt my arm. Like,
See, like sometimes I think I don't believe in ghosts, and then I hear stories like this,
that's
and
what I'm
I'm like,
saying.
oh my
Like
God.
like they're not just crazy. Like these are trustworthy
Yeah.
people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
well, not even like if they're trustworthy, but it's like multiple people. Like, so there's
multiple,
like,
tons, and it's all the same story.
yeah.
So that is what's
Yeah.
interesting, for sure.
I don't know. It really just gets me that a police officer would come back and say that.
Exactly, exactly. So, but obviously the second police officer is like, is there a ghost in that car, sir? Like maybe you're just as crazy as the other girls are,
Yeah.
So the second officer said that when he had said that to him, the first officer was as white as a sheet, and the girls were all absolutely hysterically screaming, crying. So the second officer grabs the girl who is being attacked and puts her in his police car and told the other two girls to take their car and follow him like to the station, so that they could all like be protected with them and the rest of the police.
Okay.
And so he puts her in his car and he gets in his car, turns it on. His motor immediately dies
Oh, oh no.
and it
Oh
won't
my
start back
God.
up. He can't get it to start. So he's like, what the heck's going on? He's trying, he's looking in the hood, like nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong with the car. So he's like, okay, maybe it is a ghost. So he's like, okay, let me put this girl back into the other car, like their car. And when he did that, he gets in his car and it starts immediately.
Oh my God. No.
So at this point, the officer is like, okay, maybe I do believe that there is a ghost. So now 2 officers believe that something's going on. But so the 3 girls, they ride in their car and they all go to the police station and that's it. Like there's no more attacks. Nothing else happens.
Huh. So they go for like no reason.
Yeah, they just kind of go and they just like kind of wait it out, But
Yeah.
they were good,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's just kind of over. So that's just absolutely insane to me. So because of all these stories, after this happened, many people have stayed there in this house, okay, hoping to have an experience, right? And it was actually opened as an Airbnb at one point. So people, some people booked it knowing the history going in, claimed to have the same experience. And some people had no idea about the history of the house and just was like, I'm going to Hawaii, let me book this Airbnb. And they also experienced the same thing, like being thrown about in the house by absolutely nothing. And it's all the same story. All the same story. Now, what's interesting to me is the fact that people think it's a Kasha, but nobody is actually dying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the
true.
whole point of a Kasha is that it like wants to eat you.
Yeah.
And this is kind of just playing with these people who are in
See,
this house.
What if it's just a bad one and then they just plays around with it and then doesn't ever get to the eating part because something gets in the way?
Well, that's true. That is true because they have been interrupted every single time. So maybe he just hadn't got there yet. He was still playing with his food.
Yeah, maybe it has got like eaten before, but nobody's around to see.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point too. Because it would eat the whole, like that's the legend. Like it eats everything. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That is smart. Didn't think about that. There is also a story of a 10-year-old little boy whose family was staying in the house, and he claims that he smelled what he called the odor of ghost right before being thrown across the room by absolutely
Okay,
nothing.
what? What is the odor of a
See,
ghost?
that's the only reason I even mentioned this story is because I want to know what the odor of ghost smells like. So bad.
I have no idea.
I would love to know.
I don't know.
I have to imagine it's like not good at all. Like it's
Yeah.
very smelly, stinky, disgusting.
Is it just a vibe you get? Like, I don't
No,
know.
he said no, it's a smell. Like an
Okay.
actual odor. Like in his nose could smell it.
Huh.
So I'm just like, sir, I would love to question you about that because I would just love to know.
Right, right.
So, let's see here. I lost my spot. Typical. Okay. So there is another theory. Like if you were to not believe the Kasha theory, about what could have happened here. And this story was brought up multiple times too. So I don't really know if the Kasha one is as popular as this. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of different stories. And maybe every single one of them is true. And that's why this place is so crazy. But anyway, so this story follows a couple actually, and it was two women who were married, and had been married for many, many years. But their marriage was not doing well at all, and they were fighting all the time, not getting along whatsoever. And turns out one of the women had became involved with a man. And this man found out that she actually had a wife and was so angry about them being together that he actually killed both of them and then immediately took his life as well.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
First of
So,
all, why I don't understand why people even do stuff like that.
well, homophobia is why.
Yeah.
But yeah, so absolutely, absolutely horrible. But what's even more horrible is it's said that this married couple that was living at the Kaimuki house at the time, their bodies could potentially be buried on the property because they don't know if he buried they don't know where they are, like if he buried them on the property, and they haven't dug it up because like it's rock, so maybe they're not there, but legend says that they're buried on the property and that it's like their spirits kind of like looking for help.
Oh my god. That is horrible.
It really, really, really is horrible.
Oh my god. But okay, so you might not know this, but like they were able to prove that this guy killed them, and but they don't know where they are.
I don't know if it's proved like very much, like very
Okay.
true.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I didn't write it down,
Yeah.
but yeah, don't know. I guess that's just the mystery we'll have to wonder about. So moving right along, in 2016, the Kaimuki house was actually demolished.
Oh, so we can't go. We can't go to it.
Well, I didn't say that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they demolished it because I did actually send you a picture of the house so you could look at it, like the original Kaimuki house.
Okay.
And it'll be on our Instagram if you guys want to go see it. It was very old. It was a very old house, and it was kind of just falling apart. So they kind of
Yeah, it just looks like a basic house.
yeah, just a little that's like an older picture. It kind of got really pretty raggedy in 2016, and they were like it would just be better to knock it all down and start ground up for another building instead of trying to fix this house. And I think also like they were like if we knock down the house, maybe it will end this cycle of craziness here. So kind of like a 2-for-1 deal is what they were thinking. So on the lava rock where the original house once stood, they built a new house. So you can actually still go there. It's still there. Well, a new house, but still a house on the property. And rumor has it that the haunting has absolutely not stopped and people are still being hurt by this unforeseen force in this house, in the new house. So clearly,
Okay,
whatever it
so-
was not attached to the house itself, is attached to the land that it's built on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's,
Is it even more mad that it got knocked down?
and that could be it too. And that could definitely be it too. Yeah. And honestly, like, I just feel like the fact that you can't see it is worse for me. I would rather, if something was attacking me, I would at least want to see what it was.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
And also, I feel
Yeah.
like I would feel so crazy if I knew that I was being strangled by something and I just nothing was there. I would be like, am
Yeah. Oh
I
my God.
losing my mind? Like, I don't,
It's like, yes, you are.
like,
No.
yeah, like, honestly, yeah, yes. It's just absolutely crazy. So, some people believe that this story is all completely fake and made up. Um, and that it's just a legend to try to, like, I don't know. I don't know what they say, like, to try to get people to come there. I don't think it's an Airbnb right now, but I know they do open it as Airbnb sometimes. So, I don't really know. I don't think anybody would just make up this legend. You know, it's very well documented in like Hawaiian history. So I don't know about that. But what I do know is how scary this house is. And I just want to know, Savannah, would you go there if they opened it as an Airbnb? Would you go and stay in the Kaimuki house?
See, I think I would, but like only because I
You don't
feel
think it's
like
going to happen?
I can go. Yeah, I feel like I can go and nothing will happen. But if something would definitely happen to me, then no, I would not
Got
go.
you. See, I would definitely go. Because
Yeah.
I would love to experience being thrown across the room by
See, I
absolutely
knew you
nothing.
would say something like that. I knew you
Like,
would.
I know that sounds crazy, but I too I don't know if I believe it would happen to me. Um, but if it did happen, like I would want to go just to see if it would, just to see.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
sounds
True.
crazy because
True.
like that's almost like a death wish if you believe in the Kasha
Yeah.
tale.
Honestly. Well,
So,
no one died, so
that we know of. Dun, dun,
true.
dun. Scary. Also, I
Um.
did read another little fun fact that the Kaimuki, so Kaimuki actually is, I think, the neighborhood of houses, but they just call it like the Kaimuki Kasha house because it has a nice ring to it. Um, but like the oh my goodness, lost it. Kaimuki neighborhood is the oldest neighborhood in that part of Hawaii. And so that too could play a part on it, you know, of like why it's so, I don't even know if haunted is the word, but that's what I'm going to use. You know, why it's so haunted
Yeah.
by something. Ugh, scary. But yeah, that is the legend of the Kaimuki Kasha house. Scary. I just don't know how
Poor
I feel
Hawaii.
about, I don't know how I feel about being strangled. See, I feel like I'd be okay with being thrown across a room, but being strangled like in a car, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Not what I'm down for at all. At all.
Yeah. I'm not down for any of it.
Well,
But
that's, yeah. That's what a normal person would say. But definitely go check out our Instagram because you're going to want to see the pictures. You won't see a picture of the entity because, you know, even these people couldn't see it. So that's a tragedy. But
hmm
the house will be there. And I'm trying to
yeah.
definitely
And
see some renditions of this little monster.
I know I was gonna say there's no actual pictures of
Of
this
course.
monster,
Yeah, of
but you
course.
know there's some
There's
drawings
some
and
drawings,
stuff.
yeah.
So
I just can't even imagine what, like, I can't even imagine what one of the drawings looks like for your little creature. I kind of really
it's
want to
just
see
like a
that
little
thing.
dinosaur.
I just want to
Just
see it.
like a lot of them just look like a velociraptor.
Mm-hmm. That makes
You know what
sense.
those look like.
Oh, for sure. Fun fact, actually, I have the Velociraptor like dinosaur head, like blue from actually Jurassic World.
Oh,
Like a Halloween costume. I literally have that.
love that. Love that.
Yeah. And it's pretty random, but yeah. I definitely know what they look like. In fact, you might see me running around somewhere and thinking it's that creature, but it's actually
Oh
just
my
me
gosh.
in the dinosaur head. Oh, that's so funny. But go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please, and thank you. And yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys this week. What about you, Savannah?
That is it.
Okay, well, then I guess we will see you guys next week.
Cue the music.